Weekdays at 6 on HLN.
From the moment I saw you, I went out of my mind.
My name is Nick Gordon. My life changed dramatically when I met Chrissy and Whitney.
This boy murdered my niece. He murdered her.
The aunt of the late Bobbi Kristina Brown made her anger with Nick Gordon known outside of the Fulton County Courthouse.
He thinks he's above the law.
Friday, a judge found Gordon responsible in the wrongful death lawsuit of Bobbi Kristina Brown. Gordon was a no-show in court.
We wanted to establish was that he's legally responsible for her injuries that preceded her death and for her death, and we've done that today.
Come on, there was witnesses there. Why didn't they arrest Nick on that day?
Nick Gordon is civilly responsible for the death of Bobbi Kristina Brown. A judge made this ruling last week. It is now up to a jury to determine damages in the wrongful death suit filed by Bobbi Kristina's estate. Back with Lisa and Yodit, we are joined by Spirit psychotherapist and Danielle Robe, host Entertainment Tonight Online. Danielle, what are the details of this suit?
So this is all alleged by the lawsuit and from January 31st. First, Nick Gordon came home from an all-night cocaine and drinking binge, and that's when he allegedly watched camera footage that he heard Bobbi Kristina say that he wasn't the man she thought he was, which obviously angered him because that is when they allegedly got into a loud, violent argument, and Nick injected her with what the lawsuit says is a toxic cocktail, which rendered her unconscious. And then he put her face down in a tub of cold water, and her mouth was swollen, her tooth was knocked out. And then after that, he got in bed with a female house guest and told her, quote, "Now I want a pretty little white girl like you." The suit also alleged that while Bobbi Kristina was in a coma, Nick stole $11,000 from her bank account.
Wow.
So
now, Lisa, you actually reacted to that, Lisa.
Yeah, I mean, this is really disgusting stuff. And the default judgment that was taken against him that says he's legally responsible for her death, that's just the same legally as if the case had gone to a jury and a jury had found that. That is a legally binding finding. And I would like to see law enforcement take another look at this case.
Well, will they? Or Yodit, let me ask you this. Will this particular judgment, is it going to make it more likely that there'll be a criminal charge?
It's usually the other way around. When you have a criminal case and you actually get a criminal conviction, that it usually helps in a civil lawsuit that may follow. Now, from my understanding, I know the criminal investigation is still ongoing. In my opinion, I don't think that charges will come from this judgment, simply because if it hasn't come by now, I don't think it will. But again, to what Lisa's saying, yes, the effect of the judgment is the same as a jury finding him liable. However, this judgment isn't based on the merits. It's just based on the fact that he had not appeared twice. So it's a default judgment. So the plaintiffs, the estate, will still have to prove damages and bring medical records and that type of evidence to prove that they deserve $50 million.
And Lisa, can they force the issue? Can they make him show up by some means?
You can't make him show up, but you can get rulings against him. And he was ordered to show up for several hearings. He simply refused to do so. He gave at least one interview and sort of thumbed his nose at the whole process. I mean, it's absolutely the worst thing you can do when you're being sued is to basically say to the court, you know, I don't care, come and get me. Well, guess what? The court did. We have photos of Nick Brown outside his home in Sanford, Florida. They were taken yesterday. The estate is asking for $50 million, but am I hearing right, Danielle, that Nick is reportedly broke?
You know what? I think that is true, although no one really knows the answer to that. Only Nick does, I guess.
Right. And I'm imagining, Yodit, they're going to be able to dig into his financial records and figure that out.
We know he doesn't have any money, and that's probably one of the reasons why he didn't show up to court. So, you know, that mentality of, you know what, I don't have it, so sue me. So I doubt he'd be able to pay anything. And Spirit, let's put this all together. Does what you're hearing about these allegations fit with what we know about these two? They're both using drugs. They're in this chaotic relationship. They both had character issues, as we say. Does the allegation fit for you?
Yeah, and you know, though, the sad thing about all this, Dr. Drew, is at the end of the day, it's really a hollow victory. I really wish that the family could focus on the healing aspects of this, because what they're wanting is the vindication. But there's nothing that's really going to come out of this. You can't make him show up for court at this point, so why would he put himself in this position, and then he has no money. So what are they going to get? It's just a way to prolong the healing here. It's so painful to watch.
Well, he's young. They can garnish his wages for the rest of his life if they get a judgment. Any assets that he get, they can seize. It's kind of like the family of Ron Goldman going after O.J. all these years. Every time he gets something, they can seize it and use that to collect the judgment.
Will Nick ever be an O.J.? Like, does he have anything that you think in terms of assets that will ever?
You know what? If it were my daughter, I would go after him for the rest of his life. If it were my daughter,
if it were your daughter, Lisa, there'd be criminal charges, right?
Well, you know what? You can't force law enforcement if they don't want to bring charges. And I've had many clients right now in my law firm who are crime victims who are very frustrated that law enforcement won't go forward for one reason or another. So all they have left is the civil case. And then people say, oh, they're just in it for the money. No, they're in it for justice.
But it's not about the money. It's how many people get caught up in the cycle because they need to get busy, and then they never live, they never heal because they are looking for something in order to invest in their pain, and they become distracted by it, but it doesn't bring back their loved one.
Well, Spirit, I appreciate your argument, but I don't think attorneys are going to buy into it. I want to know on your team.
Justice can be very therapeutic.
I'm with you, Spirit. I'm watching attorneys just but I get what you mean.
We'd be out of work.
People can't heal unless they accept. And they have to disengage from some of this stuff. And we saw it when Bobbi was dying. Bobbi Kristina was dying. They kept going with this notion that she was magically going to recover. In March 2015, when Bobbi Kristina lay in that state, she was deep in coma. She was brain dead, essentially. Nick Gordon talked to CBS TV's Dr. Phil. Take a look.
You been drinking some?
Yeah.
How much?
2 shots.
2 shots this morning?
Yep. I have been drinking. I have been doing Xanax. And that's it. I've been sober. Besides that, Mom, I lost the most legendary singer ever, and I'm scared to lose Chrissy. I want to let all you guys know I did everything possible in the world to protect them.
So, Spirit, we don't know him. We haven't examined him, but based on what he said he was taking, what we saw there, we're talking about a long-term treatment obligation to get well, right?
Oh, yes, to say the least. And I don't even know if it'll ever come, Dr. Drew, if it's not mandated and the court can't make him do it. I don't see anything good coming out of this. It's just money down an endless funnel somewhere. There's no real answer here.
Accountability.
It's not help anybody.
Well,
Spirit, accountability. It's about accountability.
Well, you
in
did
some way.
Say
so
what? They said he did it. They said he did it. So now he's accountable. So now what's the answer?
Yeah,
does that make anybody happier? Do they feel better?
Listen, the Bobbi Kristina Brown story is a tragedy from beginning to end. Everyone involved with it. It's just a profound human tragedy. We've got some more to say about it. And later,